Hey guys, welcome to the Dreamcasters Podcast, our first of many. I'm here with Short and Panic64. You guys want to hi?
Hello, howdy.
Hey.
And it's me, Eldarin. Also. Yeah, so you guys want to get started with our first topic of the day?
Yes, God, yes.
Oh no, okay.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
So we structured these for this one. We structured these for like upcoming things related to the Sonic franchise. So the first one we're going to be covering Colors Ultimate, our feelings on it. So I'm gonna let here's what here. I'm gonna let Nick start because he's on the other side of the aisle than us. So go ahead.
Okay.
Hold on. Before you guys start, we shouldn't let them make sure they know that we're not just doing Sonic stuff on this channel. So
Yeah, it's just a safe. It's a safe starting point since like that's what we're all pretty affiliated with, I'd say.
okay.
But okay, my deal with Ultimate is the fact that as far as new content, I think that is all a plus. I think that everything that's being added gameplay-wise is good as far as an updated remaster goes. My issue with it is it's the same issue everyone's got. It's the graphics, and the biggest issue I have with the graphics is that there's a lot of little things about it that I think make it look worse overall. I'd specifically say I'm not a fan of the bloom. I'm not a fan of some of the textures. And this is one thing I've kind of noticed with Sonic's model. I saw a YouTube thumbnail and it was talking about Ultimate. And I've noticed it in like a lot of promo material. If you look closely at like the top of his eyes, like where the curve is, a little bit of his like eyelid is down. Either that or the model is just slightly different. However, it looks a lot more flat and narrow, and it's weird. And the fact that people can look at whenever he like starts a level and he's stretching and they don't find it weird that he has a dead-eyed, no expression compared to the original, whenever he actually looks at the pathway he's going on. There's so many little things that I feel should not have been an issue, and I don't get why people get so pressed whenever there's a comparison being made between it and the Dolphin emulator version.
Okay. Panic.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. I agree that the bloom does look like really jarring. When I was looking at that photo, I know what photo you're talking about. I was like, what is up with that? Like, it looks like he's a freaking mirror. But like, I mean, his eyes always did kind of look like mirrors in that game, though. I will say, no matter what version. But I don't really see it as that big of an issue, to be honest with you, because like, you know, we're in 2021. You know, they can roll out an update that can fix that, and like you said, it's just little things. And so, as long as they get the core gameplay down, like fine, and they don't screw that up, which honestly would be a miracle because Sega is horrible at ports. I mean, look at it, Sonic Adventure DX.
Hey, now don't speak bad about that.
Oh, come on.
That's a good port. Don't speak bad about that.
Okay, fine. It's a good port, but they're not the best. They're not the best at ports. And so as long as they get the core gameplay down, I'm fine with like the little things like Sonic's eyes not looking at the course ahead yet, because they can roll out like an update to fix that stuff. Because, you know, they obviously seem like they want to do updates because they now have like content that you can like customize his gloves and like his shoes and stuff like that. So I agree the bloom looks bad, and I think they do need to tone it down a bit. But like everything else, it really just comes down to core gameplay. As long as they've got that and it runs at a smooth 60 FPS, that's another thing. I think it's
Except for the Nintendo Switch version.
Well, the Nintendo Switch version is never gonna do that, bro.
Well, why are you? The Wii could do it. I don't.
Yeah, but like the
Like
Wii...
if the Switch can run Forces in any capacity, it can run Colors at 60 FPS.
Yeah, I was a little confused about why they didn't put that.
I think Doom
Right.
doesn't Doom run at 60?
No, I think that's 30. Here, I'll look that up, right?
Doom.
Okay.
See, but Doom kind of has to run at 60 though, because
why
like
can't
it's all about
Colors?
speed. I don't know. Definitely when you're playing a game all about speed, you know, you want
You want speed.
Yeah, it does. It does run on Switch. Oh wait,
At 60?
wait, hold on. No, it
What's the
runs
frame
it runs
rate?
at 30. It runs at 30.
It runs at 30?
Yeah, they have it locked at 30.
Okay.
Eternal.
Okay,
I don't know
Elden
about
Ring.
2016. But I mean,
You
to be fair,
do
like
have
the Switch's hardware is like quite old nowadays. You know?
Yeah, it's an outdated tablet.
It's a Wii game.
It's
A Wii game.
Yeah, but
So-
like they're
Why
adding
would-
bloom. They're adding bloom. Okay, they're
Yeah.
adding bloom.
So here's my view on it. Okay, so as someone who does a lot of emulation, like a lot of emulation, like I even dump my Switch games onto my computer, which is legal by the way. I just clarifying that, but like I emulate a lot of my games, right? I went deep into the emulation rabbit hole. That's why I'm getting a Steam Deck. But my view on it is the comparisons with Dolphin. So first, no, before we here, let me step back for a second. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff on like Twitter and stuff about like comparing it with Dolphin, right? And the problem with like Dolphin should be the bar, like the minimum bar for them to surpass. And I think the builds that we've seen, you know, they've been 2 months old. I think mainly the marketing has been terrible, is mainly what's going to kill them. Because even most recent builds that we've seen have been like 2 months old. I think was the one they showed at the most.
They look unfinished.
Yeah, and that had a lot less bloom. So I'm curious, as someone that's getting it on PC, if there's going to be a bloom slider. If there is, then you know I don't really care. And at that point, because I'm just going to turn the bloom off. But I do like the original colors model better. There is some things that are a little confusing to me, when it comes to graphical changes. A big one was Tropical Resort. I think it's called. Is it Tropical Resort, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. At first it looked like horrible, but I actually don't mind it now. Again, I haven't played Colors really. I think the gameplay is going to be 100% the same. I don't think there's going to be any changes in terms of like controls or fluidity. And then in the previous like builds that have been sent out, they did say that like the reviewers said that like it feels exactly the same. Yep, it's Sonic Colors. So that's good. You know, that's good.
Yeah.
Because my biggest worry with this was, especially with the tail save, that it was going to alter the original experience from it being something completely different and not really being a true representation of the original game. But apparently the tail save isn't too bad. I don't like the argument though about, oh, just go out of your way to not collect the coins. Like that should never be an argument. You should just be able to turn it off. You know what I mean? But that's not like a make or break thing. But like, I'm excited to finally be able to play it. I'm happy they didn't go and alter a bunch of stuff, because again, this is just a remaster. And with the remaster, my view on it is like I'm pretty like strict. Well, like if there's any flaws in there, it should still be present. Like with like SIDX as an example, like yeah, that, you know, that completely killed the lighting. Would I call that a bad port in terms of keeping its faithfulness to the original game? No, because like it's still, every single flaw, every single aspect of the original game that was in there is still in there and is still representative of playing it on modern quote unquote modern hardware at the time, you know? So
Yeah.
that. But what I will say, what I'm disappointed in is the customization. Man, I am disappointed. I'm very happy they've added all of this stuff with it. You know, I don't really think it's superficial, quote unquote, because like I would have liked to see the DS stuff, but was that really a realistic expectation? No. I mean, and again, they're not selling this for $60. Like, I was very hard on 3D All-Stars. I was very hard on Skyward Sword in the past. So, like, I'm not just giving Sega a pass here, but they are selling it for $40 and I think $30 for the regular, right? Because the deluxe is $40, I think.
I can look that up.
Yeah, I thought that it was all 40, but I mean, considering
I think there's
what
actually
the
a
game
30.
is,
Yeah, I think it's $30.
Yeah, I think it's the special edition or something like that.
I have
like
the-
movie
I'd say
Sonic.
that's
Yeah,
fair
$45.
price. I'd say that's still fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm interested to see what. And like, they haven't even shown this like Metal Sonic, but I wanted to touch on the customization. That has been so disappointing to me because there's a lot of stuff you can pull from in the series other than just like Spider-Man 3 gloves. Like
polka dots.
yeah, or like polka dot gloves. Like why? Yeah, and it's like they have models.
Like they're all ugly skins.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like they are not aesthetic.
Yeah.
They don't line up. It's just like let's slap a random reflective texture on his shoe.
Yeah.
not-
Like
Go ahead.
when I saw that, like I was like, okay, cool, Sonic with black shoes and now gold ones. What I was seeing when they meant customization was like, in Forces, how you could get like the Joker skin or the Beat skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine Sonic with like Beat skin from Jet Set Radio.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I thought. That would actually be like really cool.
And
Like,
like
yeah,
we
like,
get Spider-Man
an
3
actual
gloves,
thing.
yeah, and they have like the high model of the soap shoes already there. Like I was expecting like the soap shoes,
Yeah,
maybe
like
like the
those.
free rider shoes, or I mean the rider
Oh
shoes,
yes,
or like
let's go,
Chip's
Riders.
bracelet, like
I mean,
or
any of that.
stuff like because it's like stuff like that you can pull from without it coming off as like really jarring, and like it was just
Yeah.
kind of disappointing to like, and it may be unlockables, I don't know, but like from what I saw, like it was
I
just
doubt
different
it.
colors. So
Yeah, I
Oh.
doubt it because
what else do you guys think about it? Sorry, I feel like I've been talking a ton.
No,
It's fine.
you're good.
As the one on the opposite side, like the couple like responses and agreements I have with that is, as far as customization goes, I 110% agree. It's extremely disappointing because it's so bare minimum. But the thing, like as far as comparing it with Dolphin goes, I feel like the reason that the Dolphin comparison gets thrown around so much is because like on Twitter, I made a tweet about it a minute ago, but someone was saying that it was an invalid comparison. And the reason that I disagree with that is because whenever people bring up the high-res version of colors, it's not so much look how much better Dolphin makes the game, it's just look how good the game looks at a higher output rate than what the Wii could do. So I feel like with what the graphical differences that we've seen, because again, I'd be so happy if I was just wrong on all these fronts and the final build of the game was just great, but then that's Sega's marketing team's fault for showing us poor old versions of the game. But as far as Dolphin goes, if I see the game running on Dolphin, I prefer its textures. I prefer the overall it's not really an art design change that changes, it's just there's a lot of like in Ultimate I guess if I had to phrase it some way, in Ultimate I see a lot of textures that they have changed for the sake of let's make this look more streamlined or smooth, if I had to put it some kind of way, and I prefer the way that colors looked a lot more distinctive in like vibrant in kind of, I guess, of like raw in a way, like the colors and textures were. I preferred that look because I felt it all meshed together really well. But with Ultimate, it made a lot of the textures and overall look smoother and sleeker, I'd say, which could work from if that's what they were going for. But I feel they overdid it, because if that was just how they made it look and then they just made sure everything was a lot smoother, like polygon wise, then okay, I wouldn't be a huge fan, but it would just be a different look. But they made everything look smooth, and then they made it look like actual melted butter with all the bloom on top of it.
Oh yeah,
and combining all those aspects that make it just it looks so washed out. Like if I look at colors normally at a high resolution, I'm like, this looks real. But if I look at Ultimate, I'm like, okay, I mean, it looks so, I guess if I had to put it this way, if I look at colors normally, it looks like I'm playing a video game. If I look at colors Ultimate, it looks like my camera has fog on it. Like it looks like it looks like I'm playing the game and forgot to wipe like the camera lens off. And that's that's my biggest disparity graphic wise. Like I think that I feel like one cool thing as far as customization goes could have been I know that's kind of like a jump, but I feel maybe like if there was different animations or something, maybe you could have Sonic do like different tricks, something that would have spiced up, given like your Sonic more of an identity that could have been useful. But I'm not surprised that's not in there, because I look at how Sonic is animated and it looks fine, but he seems to be a lot more dead-eyed. Like I said earlier, his eyes don't look like they move as much. Overall, he just looks, I know that it's probably a mental thing, but like he just looks a lot more static with how he looks.
I think you're converting me, Nick. I'm gonna
join the side.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think it's becoming. I think the Sonic model in terms of animation is getting Lost World and Forces syndrome, where he looks like an action figure that can't move. But I will go back. I don't know if this is like controversial or anything. I never thought Colors was visually appealing, even when like seeing it in GameStop when they had it on Wii and stuff like that. I never ever thought it was visually appealing.
Really?
No, I didn't. I thought it looked. I think some of the atmospheric lighting in the Wii version automatically puts it over Colors Ultimate. I think here's my problem with remakes like what they're doing. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I love the way it looked on GameCube. I actually like it more. Yeah. But when it comes to remakes, they just make everything look like bright and like it's gonna destroy your eyes if you turn it on.
Yeah.
And like I understand that, but I also think it needs to be conserved like its legacy. Yeah. And so I don't really care when it comes to terms of Colors looking like that. I've gotten used to it. You know what I mean? But I would rather play Colors on Wii now, actually thinking about it, because there's literally no reason to buy Colors Ultimate beyond playing a game that looks like a source film like animation thing, because that's what the game looks like now. It really does.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know if I'd go that far.
A Blender animation, a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, it really does though. Like it kind of does. I'm gonna be honest.
I can see it. You brought up lighting, and just really quickly, because I talked for like a long while earlier, but just for a quick second, the lighting I've noticed. I believe Dexterity is his name, but he's the one behind like Sonic Generations, like Redux and stuff. And he had a great Twitter thread about like him just pointing out graphical oddities. A lot of the textures don't overlap properly and stuff like that. But as far as the lighting goes, the lighting in the original game I felt was a lot more specific. If in a certain section, if they wanted the lighting to look natural and realistic, it looked relatively natural and realistic. It really exuded the atmosphere they were going for. But in 2D sections, they were like, okay, we have to change the lighting up in these 2D sections so that way it doesn't clash. It doesn't go from like realism to a video game kind of look. It meshed a lot better because of the very specific lighting. But whenever you take like in Sweet Mountain in Ultimate, the lighting is so realistic now. I say so realistic, it's a lot more realistic, and the fact that it doesn't change, if you go from that 3D section into a 2D section, you're like, this is literally a solid, like, this is just a block. Like, there's nothing behind this. There's nothing in front. It's literally just a block of level terrain. And I feel like that, again, really takes me out of the experience.
It, like, breaks the immersion for it.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with that. Like, yeah, now that you mention it, yep, I've gone to the side of Nick.
The duality of man.
Yeah,
like, I mean, I just want to see the Metal Sonic stuff, because that's the only thing that I'm like, this might be worth something.
Yeah, I mean,
because everything else is lackluster.
But I'm still complaining.
Like I said, like, I'm, you know, as someone who hasn't played it, like, I'm excited, but like I definitely understand where like people who have played it, you know, for what, like 11 years now.
Yeah.
You know, like there definitely is qualms. I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, but like I definitely I'm interested to see what the final build is. I just think no matter what, the marketing has certainly killed this thing. Well, not killed, but has really put a dent in it.
I mean, it's beat it. It's beat it.
It's like even the like those previous builds from the reviews that I saw, like of like the quote unquote final build before release, they were just kind of like, yeah, that's it. It's Sonic Colors, and that's pretty much it. Yep. If you played this game before, you will have played it again. But I'm pretty sure that's actually what I watched, like the Nintendo Life one. I'm pretty sure that's like pretty like word for word what the guy said.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. So. I get the I mean, like, on the one hand, like, no duh, I don't consider that sassy on the reviewer's part. That's realistically what you're kind of buying, but I don't understand why they say it wouldn't be like, yo, give us the best looking build. Even if it looks better than final release, give us the better looking build. I would understand if they lied to us about it looking better than it does, but the fact that they keep giving us the worst version, and like the customization looks lackluster, and they are not showing us the one new thing, and that's Metal Sonic. Yeah. And again, it's common information, they used a fan render for Metal Sonic.
Bro.
And the model looks so it's weird because the Metal Sonic model looks so much better than everything in the game, because I think it's just the Forces model and they just ripped it because its textures are so high detail in like HD looking, and I'm like, oh god, he looks so much better than Sonic.
Yeah, but like even then, you said the build was 2 months, right?
Yeah, it was old.
Like that's funny because now we're talking about advertising, and Sega is just absolutely beating Sonic colors to a pulp with it. Like, look at Halo Infinite. All those games, all those clips that they showed are like 6 months old, but they still managed to make it look good. Like, there's no reason for it not to look good. Like, what was that frame skip in one of the commercials? Like, I don't care for it personally, but like, come on. Like, okay, come on. I know, and it's like, it's 2 months old. Okay, yeah, we get that. But like, no. No, there's no reason for the advertisements like to be bad, like because they are bad.
Developer, yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of time.
Yeah, but like when it dropped, the Colors Ultimate trailer like dropped on when we were on streams together or whatever. I was watching it and I was like, okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, like I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Be excited? Like. I don't get it.
Game. I mean, I understand why they did it. They did that though, and like I'm not gonna like I haven't played Unleashed, but I'm not clowning on it. But like, out of all of them, you gotta for this kind of stuff, you gotta consider general audience also.
Yeah, and, if you want a Sonic game to make money.
Yeah, like, and they have to consider that because like, although like we make up a majority, like fans make up a majority of the sales, they don't make up all the sales, and so when releasing a game like that, like I don't blame them for not doing them, even though I would have wanted it. I don't blame them for not doing Heroes because like like on paper Colors was the easiest, so it was just a straight port. But the funny thing about that is it probably ended up being a lot more work because they had to basically rework the whole game because everything broke when they tried to port it over because of that Nintendo code that was only on the Wii, right? So it ended up being a lot of work. There was an interview not too long ago where they were discussing that. It was a little worrying that they put that out there just close to the launch of the game, but yeah. I do want to quickly, before we move on, say about the levels. If you made a point about how they kind of feel not like it breaks the immersion, and I saw a clip of Starlight Carnival, I think it was, where you know that area where the springs are, and like you have to like it flies. I think it's in Act 1.
Springs?
Well, I think it's in Act 1 where it's like it flies you off camera.
Oh, those giant platform things?
So you know how you like fly in there originally, right? And it like alters perspective.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot more like fluid with the original. In the new one, you can see like the outside of the thing, like it cuts or something like that. I remember. But I just wanted to bring that up. I just remembered. But do you guys want to go on to do you have any more to say for Colors Ultimate, or do you guys want to move on to the next?
I think I've voiced myself.
Yeah. Nick has officially converted me. I think.
I'll be a man.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna buy it. Like I'm still gonna buy it, but still, he really did change my mind.
I mean, this is like, I mean, it's not directly related to Ultimate, but like, on what you said, Elder, as far as porting Unleashed goes, I get why Sega won't do it, because I make a point of this in my Unleashed script, but the thing about Unleashed is that it is over a decade old. Like it's pretty good over a decade old, and that game has had such a drastic change in reputation both in and out of the fan base. And I think that a large reason for that is because, and people get pressed whenever I say this, but it's not an insult, if a game is around longer and you have that much more time to like kind of understand and work around the flaws, then you aren't wrong for working around those flaws or knowing those workarounds, but you make the game more fun. There's fun in the game, but like I feel like with Unleashed, you kind of have to have to kind of circumvent the things that prevent you to really get in there. And I feel like if they re-released Unleashed, that's a huge bargain, because you have Sonic fans who love the game to death because they've been playing it for so long, and I mean, they have fun with where the fun lies, but I feel like there's a reason that it didn't click with general audiences and that it got mixed reviews, because like Unleashed wasn't panned, like it was not reviewed as badly as people seem to think it was. It's just mainly like, yeah, it's all right, it's okay from like my general audience understanding, looking at old reviews from the times. And if you put that out there today, you're risking, what if it's just another mid Sonic game again? Because like, unless they drastically change because Unleashed, the Werehog is the biggest, like generally that's considered the biggest flaw of Unleashed to non-Sonic fans, and to some Sonic fans. And unless you change how that worked, you're now gambling on a new generation of gamers who, I'd say nowadays most games are a lot easier than they used to be. And you're now giving them the Werehog, especially with how much easier and more simplistic and platform heavy like the meta era was. That's a huge gamble that only fans are gonna like it and buy it.
By the way, if you hear any thunder in the background, it's like storming at my house right now, so just FYI about that. But
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, see, Nick, we'll never ever agree on the Werehog situation, never. But I will say, I see where you're coming from. But I had a completely different experience with Unleashed. And so maybe it's just me personally, but like I never saw, like I saw flaws in the little button combos things, not the combos you pull off during combat, but the combos like with the button thingies. And yeah, those are certainly bad, but I never had to like find the fun. It was fun like running around, but I can totally see where you're coming from now that you say it. But like, I feel like Unleashed specifically, let's forget story and all that, let's just go down to gameplay, because this isn't on the thing, but Unleashed, I feel like Unleashed specifically, you had the boost gameplay, and it wasn't a majority of the game, I'll be honest with you, it really wasn't. And I think you put something on Twitter about it not actually being the majority of the game.
It's like 23% or something, I think.
And I still think it's a good game because I look for more just beyond gameplay. I think it fits with the story, but with the gameplay, it's fun. You get that high speed, like awesome, like you're running through, and then boom, you're done with the stage, and then the next one you get Werehog, and it's slower. It's almost like a mix of the mech and the treasure hunting stages together is how I see Werehog. It's like a slower pace level combined with the faster pace to break up that speed. And whether or not you see that as a pro or a con, that's up to you. But I think a Sonic game needs that. I'll stand by that, because then you get the color situation where you have like, what was it, like 6 acts per like stage or something
some stupid number like that.
Yeah, you get that because now you're just blasting through the game. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Sonic in the games at least barely breaks 80 miles per hour, but in lore he's actually faster, but he's fast even while playing the game. And so he's like running, and then you're done with the game before you even know it. Because while I was playing Unleashed, the first time I played on Xbox 360 because I bought it, I mentioned that in the Game Store video I'm working on, I blew through all the boost stages. I did. In fact, I liked the Werehog stages because I could sit and enjoy the gameplay. I did. I found that as a pro. Like, Boost actually, in some cases, had more of the flaws, in my opinion, than the Werehog did. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'd say, as far as the Werehog goes, I'd say my biggest issue with the Werehog is because I talk about the Werehog a lot, and for the sake of the, like, being on the internet and whatnot, I exaggerate it, and I definitely make it sound like I believe it's worse than it is. But after my latest playthrough, I still stand by the majority of my criticisms based on my first experience. But the biggest issue I have with the Werehog is because I think you're entirely right. If you have Boost Sonic, you desperately need something to break it up. The biggest issue is the fact that the Boost formula is so fast that if you overtake it, the biggest issue with bouncing Boost is to not overtake it, to make it feel even. And with the Werehog, I feel mainly it is entirely serviceable. Because whenever I first played the game, I did not hate it. I just didn't love it. I thought it was And my biggest problem with it is that, to me, the level design is basic, and there's better combat platformers out there. And I could say, in my opinion, I'd say that the Werehog is more than serviceable, but ultimately extremely basic. And that within itself, I'd say, is fine. I don't think that that's an immediate connotation to something if it's just basic, because you can still have something basic and supplement it with great things. My biggest issue is that if you have something that basic, I don't want to keep saying basic, but basic, I guess, is the word I'll use. If you have something that basic, because the levels vary from person to person, but I'd say generally, from my experience on my first playthrough, levels ranged from like around 20 minutes, because I explored and I didn't really speed around the levels that much. I just kind of explored every nook and cranny, and I didn't give the Werehog all my XP. I gave it crap because I wanted to play as the more fun Sonic and upgrade him.
That's so interesting. I did the exact opposite, bro.
I picked the more fun one, and then I wanted to upgrade him. But with my biggest issue with the Werehog and its like formulaicness is the fact that its levels, potentially, because I can't say for certain everyone goes 30 minutes per Werehog level. That's lunacy. But
I have a picture I posted on Twitter. I beat 3 Werehog stages in like 20 minutes for my Werehog video. But it's totally subjective. That is subjective.
Especially on first playthrough. Like on first playthrough, whenever I'm playing a Sonic game, if I'm Sonic and I'm going fast, it's speed. But if I'm going as like anyone else, I more prefer to take my time with things. So on this last playthrough, I really did just zoom through it. It was fun. It was fast. I got through it all. But on that first playthrough, I can't just ignore the fact that I had my fun, but I thought that its levels potentially could go on too long. If those levels at like max, if you were going slow, hit 20 minutes per level, I'd say it would have still been fine, because like the more you play, the faster you would have got. There's no way it would have taken 30 minutes or more. But whenever you start pumping out potentially half an hour levels, especially if I was younger whenever I played Unleashed for the first time, I did not care for the Werehog that much, so I upgraded it relatively like enough, but I maxed out Sonic stats because it was more fun and I wanted to do that. So I feel like if you are leaving that up to chance, because if you give the Werehog XP, you zoom through the game, but if you don't, you
really do,
then like I feel like there's too much left up to chance about the quote-unquote quality of the Werehog. I feel like they could have put more effort into being like, okay, because I think that the Werehog, if played right, again in quotes, is fun, and it really helps breaking up the boost gameplay and making the world feel bigger. But I feel there's too much left up to like, if you don't play it a semi-specific way, it's too much in my eyes.
You know what I just thought of? That
what?
I see where we're disagreeing on. You upgraded Sonic, I upgraded Werehog. Werehog became more fun because I upgraded him, whereas you experienced it a little bit differently. I think the one thing they could have done to fix that issue is given you an incentive to upgrade the Werehog.
Exactly.
Because upgrading Sonic literally does nothing. Upgrading Sonic, it does nothing. It gives you a bigger boost meter. But like the Werehog is why they implemented the upgrade system, and they didn't give you an incentive. I just upgraded him because I was like, okay, I want to beat things up. But that's not a good enough reason.
Like, I feel through the entire, like, my first playthrough, not the entire, but, like, if your game, which I think the Werehog 100% is guilty of this, if you can beat the entire game learning, like, 2 combos and just match X and Y, like, and I mean just X, 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 Y, Y, Y. I'm talking straight, like, 1-button combos. If you can beat the entire game like that, I feel that there's not enough incentive to piece together, oh, I need more combos, so I need to upgrade the Werehog. I don't, like, they needed to get rid of Sonic's upgrade meter. Like, why is it there? It's so useless. Just the Werehog.
Here's the thing. Werehog in its normal state right now, in terms of him specifically, not stage design, he works fine. But he could have worked leagues better if they had done something beyond a little bit basic. Now, I do think they were trying to do a basic beat 'em up. I really do think they were just trying to do a basic beat 'em up, because there's no reason to put like a Devil May Cry or God of War type fighter in a Sonic game, because that would just be extremely jarring. But like, they really should have given a better incentive to upgrade him. But I really do think we need to move on.
I agree.
I
just remembered Eldrin hasn't played Unleashed.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like, yeah, because Monday my Xbox One X comes in and I'll be able to finally play it and see.
Let's
stuff.
go.
Let's
go.
Let's go. Finally. That'll be.
We kind of went off track there, but it's okay because that was very interesting to listen. That actually, what you guys were talking about with Unleashed goes off of our next topic. What are the possible ports of other games and series you'd like to see?
I'm gonna let you say that, Eldrin, because me and
Eldrin go
first.
I personally, so I've been very adamant about this, right? So, I don't think every single game deserves a port, because like I understand, and this is going off what we were talking about with colors. Like, I understand why Unleashed wasn't chosen. I understand why Heroes wasn't chosen, because at the end of the day, the franchise, other than the movie, in terms of games, the reputation for like the normal audience is not still very high because of forces, and at the end, I'm just calling a spade here. Unleashed, got like. It still did not get good reviews, and that was, I imagine that definitely had a huge impact on if that was picked first, because for a lot of people outside of the fan base, and we've discussed off stream or whatever, like I've been out of it, like I've come back, so I've seen all of the outside of the bubble view on pretty much all of the games in terms of like the Dark Era and all of the games really, like in terms of that, and I can tell you like Unleashed, not as much, but it still gets like trashed like pretty hard sometimes, and I think they would need to go back and redo and retouch up some things with the Werehog to make it a lot more like I don't want to say newcomer friendly. Not even accessible, but just like not as like obtuse in some aspects, from my understanding. So I understand why they did that, because I feel like it would still get kind of trashed. Maybe not as bad, but its scores would still not be something that they'd want as like a shining point. And then with Heroes, I love Heroes, but the thing is, like with that game, it's great, but like there's the but there with that, and you would have to go back and rework a lot of things for that to not get entirely a very high or not a lot of like, they wanted to do a safe option is what I'm getting at. So like for with Heroes, you would probably have to go back and rework some stuff, the chaotics, tweak some stuff.
The stage design, like bro. The stage design is backwards.
Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to go off with Heroes on it, but what I'm getting at is like I feel like Colors at the end of the day was the safest bet. And even, there's nothing to back this up off of, but like, Unleashed isn't even Izuka's thing, that was, Shun Nakamura, I believe, the same guy who did 06 directed that one too.
Yeah, I believe that was him.
Yeah, and he actually, I think, directed or produced Forces,
he probably produced.
Yeah, so I definitely see why Colors was the one that got picked, because it's the safest bet, like, even normies, even game journalists love that one, or at least thought highly of it, so like it makes sense with it being stranded on the Wii that was the one to bring back. And quite frankly, was I disappointed it wasn't Unleashed? Yeah, but I don't blame them. But now I can't complain, because now I went and bought the bullet on an Xbox to go freaking play the game.
Yeah, I'd say that the fact that Unleashed is even backwards compatible says a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's no way they are not aware that there's a demand for Unleashed, they're probably just waiting. Like, we need to seriously think about that.
Wait, go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, you were talking about a Heroes port, and like just a 2-second thing that I've been thinking for a while. If they were to ever port Heroes, I'd say that it'd be best if they wanted to have like the original game in there to be like Heroes mode or whatever. I'd say that'd be good, but I feel the easiest way to streamline that game to work for a more general audience, I guess, would to be to take each kind of like just basically have one playthrough of the entire game, but for each different level you switch the team and then you get that part of this, because there's not a lot of story in Heroes, so as long as you included like the story important cutscenes through the missions, I feel like if it was just team all the way to the end, that would be a very effective way to streamline it, I'd
What
say. But
I
that was
do
it.
with that is I would instead, because I actually have thought like a lot about a hero. So like with, okay, so let me first get what I was like, the crux of what I wanted to get. So, with, like, I just think that in some forms I would like to see like Heroes. I like to at least see Heroes 06 and Riders be backwards compatible, so it's at least accessible on some form of modern hardware. They don't have to be ports, but at least accessible. I would like to at least see 06 be accessible, because like that game is still stuck on the 360. It could use the. They don't have to go back and touch it up. Everyone knows that, you know, the game's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, so it's not like you know. But
There's no saving that.
yeah. So,
Well, yeah, you can fix it. I mean, fans are doing it, but like at this point, why?
well, just to have it there to preserve the game, because no matter, you know, what anyone thinks about it, it is a piece of history.
I don't think they care about
Yeah.
preserving those.
But like,
they make memes about it. So
Yeah. I mean, but like, it's not like Unleashed had that great. Like, it had a better reputation, but like, it wasn't like it did anything in terms of saving face for the franchise either. So, like, I would just like to see it at least be backwards compatible on Xbox, so people who want to go play it can go play it. You know what I mean? Without having to go buy an Xbox 360. 'Cause I think that's kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
But no, Panic, go ahead. What are your thoughts on possible ports for new games?
Honestly, port-wise, this is pretty cringe, but I want to see Shadow the Hedgehog. It'll never happen. That's years ago. Like, if they were gonna do that, that needed to be years ago. But
It'd be
like,
easy
port-
though.
yeah, it would be really. It's literally renderware, and they
Yeah.
already made a Heroes port. So whatever, you know, it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. I love that game. I think it has. I'm sorry, like third best Sonic story. But whatever. I'm not gonna go into that. That's a whole nother video. But like, definitely Unleashed. Unleashed. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. We were just talking about this. Colors make sense. I think what they're gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and predict it.
Okay.
Won't happen, but I'm gonna predict it. They're using colors to see if this remake system will work. Because on surface level, colors boost gameplay is very similar to Unleash's. So, I mean, of course it has wisps, but you know, that's, yeah. But like, I wonder if they're gonna do this and then release an Unleashed like port of some kind, maybe even a remake. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like port
The game's
wise,
still pretty though. Like, how
Yeah.
are you gonna remake it?
I know. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, Aldrin, it makes the new Xbox lag a bit. It's really ahead of its
Still,
time.
Series
yeah,
X.
it-
Series
it
X.
still lags a
Holy
little.
shit! Wow.
Yeah, that game is really ahead of its time, except
Yeah.
when you see the Werehog's textures underneath the fur, and it's like, ugh. But like, I think port-wise, the ones I would want to see: Unleashed, Shadow, Unleashed and Shadow. Like, really, I just feel like every other game, like 06, there's no reason why it's not backwards compatible, because the only reason why I'm even able to play 06, the only reason why I was able to do that video with you guys, was because I have it. My brother got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago, and I beat the game, and it's fun. But like, I feel like a port would be cool so everyone could experience it in a way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like, you know how it has become kind of a classic, and people are like, well, I'm defending the game. Do you know how many people have actually like played that game who are actually defending it? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you there's not many. And I'm gonna,
Yeah.
because like when I was playing the game, when I was writing that script, I was like, holy crap, like I'm defending this game.
Like
Yeah.
I like it, but at the same time, like there is a realistic view
Yeah.
with it.
And
I mean,
like-
it's in the Sonic fan bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is
everything in there's like, yeah.
Yeah, because 06, I'm gonna be honest with you, I love the game. I think it has a really good story. I like the character designs, except for Eggman, because why?
No, that was base.
Okay, it was base. That
No
was
way.
base. Okay, fine. No, but his face, bro, his face looks so scary.
I think you can see his eyes.
Yeah, you can't see his eyes, and
I
they're
liked
like
Mike
all
Pollock's-
black or something like that.
From what I've heard of him, because again, I haven't beat it, or even I never even beat Sonic Story, but yeah, I know. But I have it on Xenia, so I'm gonna once I get to it, I'm gonna start playing through it. But Mike Pollock is really good in that. I really liked his
Mike
his-
Pollock is always good.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
always,
I like
I don't
his
know
voice
how he
in
does
it.
it.
But
He's just Eggman. He himself. I'm starting to believe that he is Eggman. I really am. To be honest with you, he's just so good.
I'd like to yeah, but I just Nick, going off what you were saying with Heroes, I think Heroes shouldn't get a port, but if you're going to give a game a full from the ground up remake, more than the adventure games, I think Heroes deserve. I don't want to like really go off on a tangent. We could save it for another. I just think that like there's a lot of easy fixes with that to make it not feel as monotonous going 4 different routes of the same level, and it just comes to changing the scenery up a little.
Yeah.
But let's move on now. So, what do you guys think if there was a third storybook game? What do you guys think would be a good theme?
That one.
I think that Eldrin, was it you who said it? Because at first I was thinking pirate because I like pirates, but I think that you said Greek mythology, and that sounds
Yeah.
like the coolest thing ever. If Sonic like murdered Zeus in game, that'd be like the coolest thing.
That would be really cool. Sonic in the 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Sonic in the 7 Seas, though, it just sounds like the next one. Like, I don't know. Like, Sonic in the Secret Rings, boom, it's mediocre. Sonic in the Black Knight, boom, it's awesome. Sonic in the 7 Seas has a perfect title. It just sounds awesome. Like,
But he can't swim.
he can't swim. That's why he's on a ship. He's on a ship.
Contact
You know-
and Raph could just
you
use
know-
that same joke over and over again.
They
You know-
would, that'd be pretty funny. Just
You
like the
know-
entire game, he's just scared out of his mind.
No, you know what it'd do? You know what it'd be? The main bad guy would have like a little wooden plank, and he's forced to walk off of it if he loses because Sonic can't swim. So, that's his worst enemy. Is literally everywhere around him. But it would be really cool. Like, I don't know how they do it because like I would love to hear Crush 40 do like a pirate themed Sonic song. That would just be lit. You know what I mean? And I'm not a big pirate guy, but like, still, it would be cool.
The
But,
aesthetic.
like,
atmosphere.
or I got another one, Sonic and the Crusades.
That would
No.
actually be sick, dude.
I know
But
that'd
that's
be
kind of the Black Knight. Like,
I
at the same
know.
time.
You're just trying to get the highest
It's-
body count in the game.
No, it's the final Crusade, the bad one. So they're stealing.
Oh.
They're stealing stuff. So he's gotta steal the rings.
I
because the
always
last
wanted
Crusade-
like Sonic in the World War II.
Sonic in
Oh
the
my
Great
God.
War is
Yeah,
World War
it's-
One.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
No, okay. Before we get, but no, I honestly like. I'd like
Sonic
to
and
see.
D-Day.
God,
Oh, that'd be great.
Sonic
I'm
driving
sorry,
a tank,
that'd be so good.
like. But no, I always would like to see like. I honestly think the Greek and Roman like mythology would really fit well. There's been a lot of mock-ups. I think
Yeah.
that would really.
I'd say
Sonic in the Wild West would be cool.
That would be cool too. Yeah.
I'd say the biggest risk you run with a lot of them, like if like Greek or Norse mythology or like a Wild West one, is there could potentially, I feel, be some aesthetical overlap with Secret Rings, because Secret Rings
yeah.
Secret Rings wasn't like heavily like Greek and like its building architecture and whatnot, but like as far as like the environment around that, I feel like you could run, because like in my head I'm thinking like I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey would, like as far as like a base that's like Egypt or whatever, but I'm just thinking like there's a lot of desert-y kind of areas, and Secret Rings was a lot of sand.
Yeah, you know what I just thought of? Sonic in the Wild West or something like that. They could finally use Knack the Weasel. Finally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They-
yeah.
Bro, could, like-
I take it back. I'm behind that one. That's
Yeah,
what I
that's-
want.
that is a good one.
Sick. But like imagine like Sonic with like a little gun. Like or like a
Shadow
big
with metal
iron.
gun.
that
There
would
we go.
actually be really cool.
No,
because
Shadow
there are
would have the
Wild West-
biggest gun in the
There's like
game.
there's like famous Wild West people like that you learn about in like history and stuff like that. And just like, you know, you had Lancelot and all these other characters and Alibaba and all these other like
Sonic
characters
at the
that are in the
Alamo.
story. But like, just imagine like Sonic with like dusters or like, I don't know, like a hat. That would be kind of cool. Like, honestly, like
No,
he's
I
an
can get behind
outlaw.
that.
That fits his character too, like an outlaw. So like, I don't know.
could get
I
behind
like that idea way more. And then finally add Knack the Weasel back, a modern design that's canon.
Where he needs to be.
Yeah. But that would actually be cool.
Yeah.
Cooler than the Seven Seas one.
I'd be very down for that.
So now let's go. Let's change or shift gears a little bit. All right. So we have the topic listed as Sonic Rangers, and that's it. I definitely, but I think that it has definitely enough of some merits. I'll start with the first thing. Do you guys think Rangers is going to be good? Are you hopeful or are you pessimistic about the game from what we've seen?
I think that there's no way in any reality it's going to be bad because I mean even Forces isn't like bad, but I'd say that it's I feel like at worst, my most pessimistic scenario, I feel like it could be just another soulless, lifeless Forces. But on the other hand, I'm like, okay, I'm pessimistic about this franchise, but it's been a while, and if they're really being secretive, they kept their mouth sealed on Forces, but that's most likely because it had an awful development. But with this one, they showed something, and I'm like, you didn't show us all of it, and I'm like, I feel, I don't know, I'm conflicted because on the one hand, that's a sign of like this could be huge and they don't want to reveal it until they know that they can realistically break the internet with it, or they're like, we really need just to have a good trailer. Like I don't know, like I don't with Sonic Team, who knows? I'll say I think at worst, realistically speaking, development time, they already have Hedgehog 2. With the circumstances that we are aware of, at worst, I think the game will be okay. And if you're a Sonic fan, I think it'll be good. I feel like for the general audience, it'll probably just be like okay. And if you're a Sonic fan who can get more out of it, then it'll probably be good. That's my feeling on it.
Manic, what about you?
I don't know why. Like, I just laugh whenever I hear Sonic Rangers.
I hate
Hey,
the
it's
name.
better than Sonic Zap or whatever it was
No,
called.
I like Sonic Rangers.
I
think
hate
Rangers
it.
is cool. Like, I like the name.
I
but,
think it
like,
sounds
Literally
cool.
just Sonic Forces. Like they have the same connotation. Like there's the same meaning.
War.
War.
Sonic Militia. No, but
Sonic
anyway.
Massacre.
That was the beta name for Forces apparently.
Militia.
No, War.
War. What?
Yeah, it was literally called
back
Sonic
to-
War. Like,
Okay, that's dumb. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest. That's dumb. But back to what I was saying. Speaking of beta titles, Sonic Wildfire sounds a lot cooler than Sonic and the Secrets. But anyway,
Yeah. I agree.
but anyway, my views on Sonic Rangers is just like, okay, we got to see him run through a forest and a weird looking symbol. That's cool. Will it be good? I don't know. Because Sega has proven time and time again that they can have all the time in the world and still make a trash game. And
Correct.
so here's my thing. Take their time, and that's what they're doing. Don't pull a Halo 2 and release footage that's just not even going to be a thing that's in the game. Just don't. Because
Sure.
like my thing is when what we saw was something that anyone can make at home.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Sonic Omens, the cutscenes, they looked pretty on par with that, a little worse, you know, but you know, I could make, like, if I knew animation and I had gone to school for that, I could make that same thing. What's really gonna define that is if they make a solid Sonic game, is if they do that, and they are fully capable of doing that, you know? They are fully capable of doing that. So I'm not going to say anything about what I think it's going to be. I'm hopeful because, you know, like, I'm a Sonic fan, but in reality, I'm neither like I'm not mad because that's the thing. Like I'm not mad at Forces at all. I just think that the little Avatar guy was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah.
I love the OC.
I hate the OC.
That's the one part of that game I like.
Yeah, I sent Eldrin, I bought Forces again, and I sent Eldrin this horrible picture of like a hawk I made, and he had like these dead eyes. They're just like piercing. Yeah, but like, I just like, they're funny, but like as a gameplay mechanic, they're just like Sonic with like the little thing he had in Boom. You know what I mean? The little,
yeah.
You know, that's my thing.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, and like that's my thing. And see, Forces isn't bad, and I don't think Sonic Rangers will be bad. And see, here's my thing with most of the games that people say are bad when it comes to Sonic. Is my thing is like they're not bad. They're just okay. They're not like oh my gosh. They're not like a Mario Sunshine of the series. You know what I mean? That'll make you happy, Ultron. You know.
Yeah.
Like that game. But like you know, they're not bad, and I don't think they'll make a bad game. I think at best, at literal best, it'll be awesome. It'll be a return to form, but at worst, I think it'll just be like, I really think it'll be like Unleashed. People like it, it's okay, it's fun, but it's nothing like, whoa. If you want to really be whoa, like I am about Unleashed, you're going to have to look into the story and the deeper meaning behind the story. It really comes from story, but gameplay-wise, I don't see how they could screw it up because they've been using Boost for literally an eternity.
Well, we don't even know if it's full boost. Or...
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like I don't know how they're gonna screw it up. I hate saying that. I don't know.
No, you're not wrong. We don't know anything about it.
No, like you know, I don't know what. But the one thing that did intrigue me about the game, the little thing, before because I know you probably want to say something.
No, you're good.
Did anyone notice that his shoes look different? They look flatter. Like, they look flatter.
Like the same normal Sonic model to me.
It looked pretty normal. Like, I know what you're talking about, but
they
like,
looked more pointed. They looked flatter. Like, I didn't get it. Like, I was looking at, like...
might have just been for the sake of, like, the scene that it
maybe,
was
because, like, when we were watching it on stream, once again... When we were watching on stream, every time he looked back to see what he was doing, I was just locked on his shoes. There was something about his shoes that just looked weird to me. And I didn't know what it was, and I just didn't mention it because I was like, maybe I'm just a stupid dumb. But every time I look at it, it looks different.
They looked longer, and they looked flatter.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like, longer and flatter. And see, that reminds me of Adventures. Like the art.
Well, I mean, it's probably just for the sake of covering up. I assume you're talking about whenever he like stomps on the ground.
Well, no, like his feet in general just look longer and
That
flatter.
might have just been a perspective thing, because like the upper model, like his arms still do that weird gross thing where they go into his body and there's like a hole there, and like that's been a problem.
What?
If you look at Sonic's body, like the
Sonic
arms,
costume.
yeah, it looks like he's wearing.
Yeah. That's weird.
So I mean, it might just be like a change.
Maybe
in
he's
the shoe
actually
model,
naked.
but it's 100% got nothing to do with adventure.
I know. No, I was just saying
Yeah.
that was what my brain linked it to. Was
I just think
like that weird noodly shape that they do. You know, where they like move different. They look more fluid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't look as stiff. That's one thing that I love about Sonic Art is it looks fluid, but now it's just gotten stiffer and stiffer. I just hate it. But
I think that it's definitely like don't take the CGI model verbatim, because like even in Unleashed, although it looks similar to the final model, like the Unleashed model looks a little bit different. And I think it could just be a similar. Curious when they finally show the model, whether that be on a poster or whatever, and how different it's going to be. Because I actually like the colors ultimately. But, like, I'm interested if they're going to do something similar to that. But personally, I would like something a little bit more lankier and taller. But
I agree.
Or even like 06. Like I mean not 06. Unleashed. You know.
I was happy.
And I love 06.
And tall, lanky and tall.
Yeah. But no, I honestly think it's going to be really good. I have faith in them. They've been working. He said like Azuka and all of them sound a lot more excited about the game than any of the press releases I saw for Forces. Granted, I wasn't in the series, back in the series yet, but going back and looking, it all came a very blatant PR talk of
we want to really accentuate that speed and give a fast experience, like like blatant like.
Yeah, I mean,
Cookie
this one
cutter
they're
PR
talking.
talk,
They're
so.
talking more on this
Yeah.
one because I remember
They
whenever
sound
Forces was
excited,
coming out,
you
like,
know,
I never heard about like brand new developer interview for Sonic Forces, but with this one I'm actually hearing like, oh, they talk, they
Yeah.
speak, they're not just droneless machines for the Sega Overlord.
Yeah, Sega sounds. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just looking in development for like Jet Set Radio and other Sega games, it just does not sound like a fun experience to work for Sega.
Very unpleasant.
Back in the day,
like-
probably, but I don't know about now. Because
Yeah.
leadership changes and all.
Yeah. But I actually have a question for you, Elgin.
Yeah, what's up?
Like, what is with all this like pixelated stuff? Is it connected to colors or something like that? I remember you said that. Like,
I
right?
again think we may be looking too far into it. I have nothing to base it off of. I think it's either Wisp stuff or it's just like the whole cyberspace thing from the leaks of like the null space. I
Probably,
think it's
yeah.
either Wisps or null space stuff from like Forces
feel like-
and the leaks.
I don't know if this is like a, I don't know. With this game and how excited they sound for it, I'm gonna be honest. I feel with how much they just didn't seem to. I feel like it has nothing to do with anything.
I hope
Personally
not.
speaking, I can
Yeah.
see why there are like, why you could draw links to colors or null space or infinite and whatnot, but they don't care about infinite. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they
they
would
really
have done
don't.
something.
No one
They don't-
does.
I don't
No one
think that
does.
they care about the wisps any. Well, I mean, they care about the wisps, I'm sure, but I feel like to put that in your big new teaser trailer, like I feel it's gonna be an entirely different thing.
Here's the
Guys,
funny
look,
thing.
we
Wait,
got
here's the
Wisp.
funny thing. Here's the funny thing. No, none of the fans care about Infinite, but Azuka cares about the Wisps, and none of the fans care about the Wisps. So that's the only
Kind of. I think the wisp could be good. I think the wisp as a concept is a really fun way to have pirates in the series. They're just bad in everything.
It
except for
took me a
colors.
second to process how I was going to say that. So.
Also, like, what do you guys think about people going and like trying to like find out things about this game and like posting stuff on Twitter about like I think it's way too early to talk bad about it and way too early to talk good about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't
But,
understand
like-
why there's so many like adamant defenders. I'm like, dude, you know nothing.
Like, here's my thing. Like, I get why defending it because I defend it. I'll defend it. I'll just say, and I'll defend it. And when I say I defend it like this. We don't know anything, okay? It'll be good. Just have that in your head. Or maybe you should actually expect nothing of it. So then that would be more exciting.
I am very optimistic, but at the same time, I want to see gameplay. But as of right now, I think with just how they've been talking about it, there sounds like actual excitement and actual like where we're excited to do something and we're excited to, and they're comparing it to like the adventure games in terms of like revolutionizing the series, and you don't see that spoken about much in terms
But
of
I
that,
get,
you know.
I get worried. Yeah, I get worried though whenever a game developer says, "I'm
We're going back to our characters' roots.
No, it's
Sonic
not
4.
that. That's scary. No, that's scary. No, that's horrible. But that's scary. But it's even more terrifying when a developer says, "We're excited to work on this project," and the reason being, every time, and maybe it's just the specific fan bases I'm a part of, like Halo, Sonic, and the like. Every time the developer says, "We're excited," it just comes out and it's mediocre. It's like, does this make you happy? Like, that's my question. It's like, does it make you happy for me to boot up Halo 5 and be like, what? You know?
Hey,
like-
now that's 343. That's a whole different story.
But they're excited. And that's what's scary. You know what I mean? Every time the developer says, "I'm excited to
And
be
heaven
working on this,"
forbid,
and they're
heaven
like,
forbid they're happy to work on it.
you know, it's like, I'm just saying, like, it scares me. And I think you
I
should
understand,
be
yeah.
like a little bit more questionable
Mhm.
when someone's really excited about something, because they tend to forget a lot. That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
because they're so looking forward on what I can do, they forget the core idea of what it was.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to our last topic since we're running kind of long.
Okay.
So where would you guys take franchise going forward in terms
Who wants to start?
I have a pretty clear idea.
All right, go ahead.
Just because I've thought of that before. The thing about Sonic, like the series as a whole, for me, is I feel step one, they need to, in order for like my ultimate plan, I guess, to work, I feel like they need to properly establish Sonic's world to an extent. Even if they just mention other games and areas that further establishes like a collective land that makes the world.
Mhm.
I feel like they need to do that very much so. But I feel what they run into a lot is they keep falling back on the exact same kind of locations, like cities and forests and stuff. And I think that that's understandable, considering that they have to deal with like a planet, and so they could easily just do this on Mobius or whatever they're calling the world now. But I feel a really good way to give Sonic more diverse locations and plot lines. This may sound a little bit fanfiction-y, and I don't mean for that to be the case, because I think that they could do this and not have it be that way. But I think that it'd be really cool. I think that I feel like it'd be really cool if they took him into space. All right, if they established a universe, specifically because the Babylon roads from Sonic Riders came from space. It's an ancient space civilization. I feel that if they dipped into maybe that aspect of the lore, or Eggman just was in space searching for some cosmic object, I feel that if they took Sonic and friends off-world, you literally can make up whatever you want, whatever civilization, whatever aesthetic, whatever like jungle area, like just whatever you want, planet hopping. I think that would be like really cool. For even if it was just one game, you could make such a huge game based on just levels based on other planets, specifically with other characters. I think it'd be really good for that. So that'd be where I'd take it.
And specifically like Shadow, because like he's half alien.
They're never gonna reference that ever again.
I'm sorry, it's cool.
Like it is cool.
Edgy.
They're never gonna reference that, man. Like I want them to also, but like I don't know. I would be shocked if we were even thrown something like if us Shadow fans were even thrown something.
I love Shadow the Hedgehog, the game.
Same.
So good. It's just 2 chef's kisses. Amazing. Okay, do you want to go, Aldrin, or?
I'll go. Yeah. So basically, I make this short, and I make this. Okay. I'd make this series base as Frick again. And starting off, I would kill Orbot and Cubot. Yes.
Never.
I would
Never.
I would get rid of them.
I would rebuild them.
No, well they're like
We
erased.
can
Like
rebuild them.
I would do something where they're like forever like stuck in a perpetual like cycle of getting like crushed by a boulder or something. So like, they can't get rebuilt. Like it's not something like I'll pull something.
In your voice. The hate in your voice.
This is such a wrong take.
I would then bring back like the cool storybook esque villains, and then I would also okay, you have your like you have your actually cool games, right? And then you have like your
Orbot and Cubot.
Exactly. You have your actually cool games, and then for the 2D peasants, they can. I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding, but no, but for real though, what I would do is I would have I am serious about like bringing back the more shonen-esque tone of 3D games. I'd bring that back. I'd have it be adventure style because it actually feels more like a platformer. It doesn't have to be adventure, but it could be something similar, which you could also have a character have the boost attribute and have their own stages made around boost. With that, I would also license out 2D games. That would be in the advanced rush style. I would probably do something more akin to a Mania 2 first. And with that, I would have them kind of flip-flop release every couple of years. So maybe every 2 to 3 years, depending on the game development cycle. Mania 2, base Sonic game, advanced 4, whatever. You know what I mean? Like something like that. And so I would have a 2D and I'd have a 3D kind of complement each other, but be their own self-contained stories and have their own storylines, but still be cohesive into one universe. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I would do, because that way you're appeasing both sides of the fan base without placating them in the same game, because that doesn't work. And you see that in Forces.
I'm not dogging Forces. Like I'm not like I know I've been memeing on Forces like all this.
No,
time,
we
but
dog
I'm not-
Forces in this
yeah.
house.
No,
But,
that is a bad thing about Forza.
But like, if you're gonna go full 2D, in my opinion, you go full you go all out. And if you go full 3D, or if you're doing a 3D game, you go all out 3D. If you're doing a 2D game, you go all out 2D. I would essentially bring for this 2D game, I'd bring the whole Mania cast back. I'd add Amy. I'd add Metal Sonic, and I'd maybe add like another character. And
Fang.
and I'd have it be Genesis styled in terms of stylization. And later on, you could always do Yuakawa stuff. I think a follow up to Mania in terms of like levels, in terms of like full original levels, full original. But alright, Panic, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I actually, it's pretty basic when it comes to where I would take the series. I want Sonic to be edgy again. Like, I really do. And I want the stories to be serious. Like, here's my thing about Sonic. The fact that I can look at a 3-foot tall blue hedgehog and then get this awesome original story with like characters who lost things like Shadow, characters who learn to grow up and be independent like Tails, characters that learn that they have a job to do like Knuckles. All these things are cool. They reinforce a deeper meaning behind the characters and stories they tell.
Yeah.
And I love that about Adventures and Shadow. In Heroes, on Shadow specifically, Heroes, no. But like, in Unleashed even, it was this, in 06, definitely, it was like this cool aspect. Like, because Mario and Sonic together, like, here's the thing with Mario and Sonic. When you put Sonic in a 2D game, it's a Mario game with speed, with different characters. When you put Sonic in a 3D game, but then make it stupid and silly, you got a Mario 3D game. I'm sorry, like, maybe it plays different, but at its core, that's what it is. But what made Sonic different than literally everyone else was the fact that they were telling deep and compelling stories using these characters. You know? I loved that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sonic lost that. He doesn't have that anymore. Heroes started it. They tried to go back to it. People hated it for no reason. I'm gonna go and say it for no reason. And
They
then
hated, they hated what?
the dark story in
Okay.
Shadow. They said it's confusing, but it's really not. I'm gonna do a video on that, but
Yeah, but it's really dumb.
it's not dumb.
Alright, let's not get off.
I won't.
Okay. And then Colors just absolute dumped butt all over that idea of bringing back dark stories, and we lost that. And so what I would do, make Sonic edgy again, bring back the dark stories. I agree, kill Orbot and Cubot.
I was only joking, but honestly, I wouldn't
The worst
be
fate.
like disappointed. I wouldn't be like, oh no, they're like gone.
No,
Darn it.
they really don't need to be there though. Let's be honest. And then
There's that
I
one guy
would
watching this is like his all-time favorite character in all of media is like Orbot.
Yeah,
He's just like immediately it's just like reporting us.
An individual case.
yeah, we'll get taken down for terrorist actions like I did. But anyway, 2D games would be separate from 3D games, like what you said. I think you guys both said, I agree with you guys where you take the series. But I would just specifically put a huge emphasis on dark stories and edgy characters again. That's what I want. That's literally all I
Like,
want.
For me though, like obviously like number one is gameplay. So like if the gameplay is shit, then like, you know, I'm not like that it don't matter at that point. But
Yeah.
Having the story be the backdrop of the gameplay is always my favorite. It still gets you invested. I think there's a way to do more serious stories, and I know what you're saying, but I'm just kind of saying this for the audience. Like I think there's a way to do serious, but if you can still blend
Still make gameplay
lighthearted
fun.
moments. with like
Yeah, I'd say that the tone of Unleashed and SA2, I feel like those are perfect in terms of maturity
yeah.
and like having a real story to tell. And
Yeah,
they have darker elements, but they aren't like edgy. That's my preferred tone.
Well, here, this is what I mean when I say edgy. So Sonic at his core in the adventure games is an edgy character. The things he says, the things he does, edgy. It's not, a lot of people mistake the edge as like, Mom, you don't know who I am, slam door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where when people say that, that's what I don't see. I don't see edgy that way. The way I see edgy is Sonic. He's like listens, but then like doesn't, and then he's like cool. He's free spirited, and I think Unleashed told that story perfectly. I think every dark story. Okay, I'll stop saying edgy, but every dark story needs lighthearted moments, and you need to blend those together. So I absolutely agree. And gameplay is king. It really is king.
I was just trying to clarify that just in case, because I just wanted to make sure when people were watching they weren't, you know. But
gameplay
no,
is king,
I agree though.
But here's the thing.
True.
SA2 and Unleashed, I'll use those as examples. Those, you know, you can like disagree with me, but like in my opinion, those are some of the best stories in Sonic's history, because they put an emphasis on, Unleashed specifically, an emphasis on Sonic as a character, and I liked that. And the whole point of the game, in my opinion, is about being free, and the only way to truly be free is to, in a way, defeat yourself, like you did with the Werehog.
Yeah.
It's an interesting aspect. I mean, if you listen to the song Endless Possibilities, it talks all about that, and it begins where it starts. He starts at Windmill Isle and ends at Windmill Isle. I love that. That's how you tell a good story. You can have a 3-foot-tall hedgehog, but if you tell a story that good with solid gameplay, you have an amazing game. I really like. It's just perfect. That's why I like Unleashed. Unleashed isn't perfect. Okay, it's not perfect, but if you were to fix up the Werehog stuff, make the gameplay awesome, it literally would be a perfect game. And honestly, I would like to see more Sonic games like SA2 and Unleashed, in my opinion.
I do want to say though, I do think like in terms of tone, colors at the time its release was I do think it was the right move, but I just think it's easy to like point the finger at it nowadays and be like, oh, this is where the series went to shit. When
colors and tones are necessary.
Like at the time, it was necessary as like a breath of fresh air, but I think there was a way to blend that foundation with the prior foundation of the dark, any of the dark era into something that like benefits both, similar to Unleashed. It just went down. It just went like took a steep dive right after the colors, in my opinion. And again, I haven't played it, but from what I've seen, cutscene wise.
I think it was Nick. Was it you that you said in your video, Nick, where you said there was a part where Tails gets mind controlled or something like that?
Oh yeah, he gets mind controlled and they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, they could have done something with that would have made it awesome. And that's what I'm saying. You don't like. I just okay.
Yeah.
I'm done. Okay.
All right. Well, we got any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
Sonic is cool.
Sonic is Nick.
Sonic is in fact cool.
All right.
Cubot fans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Guys, this is our first podcast for Dreamcasters, and we want to just thank you all for tuning in, and see you guys in the next one. Also, there is going to be other games covered on here other than just Sonic, but we figured Sonic would be the start. But so we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys all for watching.